Hey guys, welcome back to Kids Church, and I know that you guys are super excited to know what today's word is. Today's word is restraint. And no, it has nothing to do with trains. So restraint is being calm and having controlled behavior. So basically it means if some guy at school and you're having issues with this dude, right? And he comes up at you and he calls you names, it doesn't mean you go call him names back. It means that you say, are you okay? Are you good? Or whatever. You just be kind to them and you be calm and controlled in that environment. So chosen people stay calm. Just like you do in your situation when you are going against someone and someone's just being rude to you, just stay calm in that situation and don't overreact.
Christ alone, our chief cornerstone, no other foundation can we build upon, not philosophy, nor the wisdom of man, for all other ground is sinking sand. Upon this rock, you build your church, and the gates of hell will not prevail. When we bind and loose, we proclaim your truth, and in Jesus' name we will not fail. Never fail. Oh, we will never fail.
Crucified, raised up from the dead, let captivity captive. It is finished. Oh, he gave us the keys, his authority. Now we are joint heirs to the praise of his glory, glory.
Upon this rock, you build your church, and the gates of hell will not prevail. No, when we bind and loose, we proclaim your truth, and in Jesus' name we will not fail. Oh, we will never fail. No, we will never fail. Oh, we shall believe we will never fail. No, 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 we will never fail. Somebody say it. We will never fail. No, we will never fail. No, we will never fail. We will never fail. No, we will never fail. Build your church, build your church, build it from the ground up. It's your church. Build your church, build your church, build it from the ground up. We're your church. Build your church, build your church, build it from the ground up. It's your church. Build your church, build your church, build it from the ground up. Build your church. Oh, King Jesus, build it from the ground up. Oh, it's your church. Jesus, build your church. Build it from the ground up. Oh, build your church.
Hello, Teacher Ella.
Hello.
Hello, kids. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Kids, do you remember that? Oh, it's been so much fun learning sign language with you. Kids, do you remember learning our verse from 1 Samuel 16 verse 7? Do you remember?
I do.
Okay, so I've got a challenge for you guys. Teacher Ella is going to sign the verse while you guys read it out. Let's see if you guys remember. All right, are you guys ready? Are you ready, Teacher Ella?
I'm ready.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Did you get that?
I did. I hope
Good.
you guys got it. All right, let's read it together and see and do the sign language at the same time. Are you ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. The Lord doesn't see things the way you see them. People judge by the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16 verse 7.
Amazing.
Teacher Ella, it's been so much fun learning sign language with you. I've honestly had the best time. I hope you guys have enjoyed it too. But we are not done yet. Let's see if you guys can remember Teacher Kaylee and Teacher Tuddy's verse. Enjoy!
Do you guys remember 1 Peter 2 verse 9? In sign. Yes, that did rhyme. But anyway, I hope you guys remember it because Teacher Kaylee's here to do it with us. So you're going to do the verse in sign. Okay. And then I'm not going to read it. But I hope you guys know what it says. So, Teacher Kaylee, let's take it away.
So, did you get that?
Yes, I actually did. Especially the light part. That's when I know exactly when the light is, and the goodness, and the chosen. So I hope you kids also got that as well. So now I'm going to read out the verse, and she's going to sign it again. Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3. You are a chosen people. You are royal priests, a holy nation, God's very own possession. As a result, you can show others the goodness of God, for he called you out of the darkness into his wonderful light. 1 Peter 2 verse 9. Well done, kids. I think you guys deserve a clap, but I think we should learn how to do it in sign language. Teacher Kelly, how do you clap in sign language?
So in sign language, we'd clap like this.
Okay. Well done, kids.
Hi there, boys and girls. We've been learning about King David and how he was God's chosen one to be the king. And we've also been learning about you and me being chosen by God to show the world what God's chosen people look like. We've been learning a whole lot of things that chosen people do and don't do. I hope you've remembered the different things that we've been learning. And today we're going to learn something very special about King David in quite a scary time in his life. The story that I want to tell you today is about a time after King Saul had been hunting him down. Do you remember King Saul was jealous and David had been anointed by the prophet Samuel to be king, but his time wasn't there yet. And so he had to be patient for a while. And today we're going to learn about 3 ways that David showed restraint. Now, restraint is a really interesting word. Restraint comes from the word restrain, which means to tie down or hold back. And when we think about somebody showing restraint, it's also what the New Testament talks about when we show self-control. David showed self-control. And you and I, when we want to show the world what chosen people look like, we also need to show self-control and restraint, even when there's other stuff happening around us that makes us want to do other things. And so, are you ready to get into the story of King David? Right. David had been living in the wilderness inside Israel. And during that time, some people had come to him until he had about 600 men and their sons and daughters and wives all living together in the wilderness. But King Saul was hunting David down to kill him because King Saul was threatened by David because the people loved David. But King Saul, unfortunately, he was not a good king. And so King Saul thought that if he killed David, then the people would love him again. But it doesn't work like that, does that? And so David had to make a decision. He decided that he would respect Saul's authority and he would wait patiently and show restraint until God gave him the go-ahead for his time to be in charge of the nation of Israel as king. And so he sat down with the 600 men who were following them, and he said that he needed to move away from Israel so that they wouldn't be in danger anymore. Now they were thinking carefully, where should they go? And they decided to go to one of the neighboring nations, the nation of the Philistines. Now you might remember the Philistines often fought against the Israelites. So this was quite a difficult decision to make because the Philistines used to be their enemies. But David made friends with King Achish, who lived in Gath. Now what they did in the Philistine territory is they had kings in each of the major cities. And so he went to King Achish and he said to King Achish, please can I come and live with you? Because Saul, the king of Israel, is my enemy. And the enemy of my enemy is my friend. He said, can we be friends? Can I come and serve you? And we, my 600 men and we will help you to build your city and keep you safe. At first, King Achish was a little bit nervous about this because he thought, what if King David doesn't stay true to his word? But he decided to let King David and his 600 men and their families stay with them in Gath. After a while, David asked whether it would be possible for them to move to a smaller town called Ziklag, which was still in the same Philistine territory, and King Achish agreed. And for more than a year, King David and his 600 men helped King Achish, and they lived at Ziklag, and they used to go and raid in the territory of the Amalekites, which was another of the enemies. It was an enemy of the Philistines and an enemy of Israel. And so King Achish and King David had a good relationship. And so because David showed restraint and he wasn't impatient to become king, he was self-controlled and he moved away, King Saul and the people in Israel stopped hunting for King David, and there was peace for a while. And that's what happens when we show restraint. We can make sure that there's peace instead of fighting, right? Just like David. That's the first of the 3 times that David showed restraint that I want to tell you about today. But after a year and 4 months, something terrible happened. The Israelites got ready for war against the Philistine kings. And so the Israelites got their armies together and camped in the valley, and all of the Philistine kings called to one another to say, come, we're going to go and fight against the Israelites. And so King Achish said to David, you and I have become good friends. We're going to go and fight the Israelites. I'm sure that they hate you. Will you come with me to fight the Israelites? What would you have done? Because David knew that in the Israelites was his friends and other people that he'd built good relationships with, and King Saul and his best friend Jonathan. Should he go with King Achish to go and fight against the Israelites? Or what should he do? And so David showed incredible self-control and restraint. Instead of getting all upset and anxious, he calmly said to King Achish, I will come with you. And I think behind the scenes, he was praying so hard to say, Lord, I don't want to fight against anybody that I love. And then an interesting thing happened. When they got to the battlefield, the other Philistine kings looked at King Achish and they said to him, come over here. Who's that guy that you've got with you? Isn't that King David? And King Achish said, yes, I've made friends with David and all of his men. They're helping me. And the other Philistine king said, no ways. We can't have him fighting with us. This might be a plan of the Israelites, that when we're in battle, they'll come up behind us and ambush us, and they'll fight with the Israelites. We don't think we could trust David to fight with us. And so King Achish went back to David and he said, I trust you to fight with us, but the other Philistine kings don't. So I'm really, really sorry. I'm going to send you back to your home in Ziklag because you can't fight with us today. Isn't that amazing? Because David stayed calm and showed restraint, God answered his prayer and he and his men were able to go away from the battlefield. They didn't have to fight against the Israelites. But there was something terrible waiting for them when they got back to Ziklag. From the distance, as they got closer and closer, they could see the smoke rising up from the town where their wives and their children were supposed to be. And the men started getting anxious and they started getting worried and they went faster and faster. And when they got to the town of Ziklag, which had been their home for more than a year, all they found were ashes. The town had been burnt to the ground and all of the people and all of their livestock was gone. Gone. What would you do in a terrible circumstance like that? And the people were so upset. They sat down, they wept and cried. David was crying too. Remember, he had his wife Abigail, the beautiful Abigail that was with him, and his other wife Ahinoam, and his children. They were all gone. And he wept with his friends and with their companions. And then some of his 600 men turned to David and they said to him, it's your fault that this has happened. You're the one that has caused this. Have you noticed that sometimes when people are really sad, sometimes they attack the people that should be their friends and family? And David showed restraint. He didn't argue with them. He didn't fight with them. In fact, in 1 Samuel 30 verse 6, it says, David found strength in the Lord his God. He went to God and he prayed and he said, God, show me what to do next. And God showed him that he and his men needed to go after the Amalekites who had taken their families and that they would get them back safely. And that's exactly what they did. They went after them, they found them, they rescued them, and they were reconciled together. And that's what I'm hoping for you, that you will be just like David, that you won't overreact, that you won't fight with other people, that you won't get bogged down when things seem to go wrong, that you will show self-control and restraint, and that you will be just like David, and that God will direct everything that you do. Pray that you're going to have an amazing week. This is the last of our series for Chosen, but look out for our next one where we're going to find out some more about the life of David. Have a great week. Bye. Welcome to our game called You Choose. And today I've got some friends joining me.
I'm Hannah and I'm 11 years old.
I'm Gabby and I'm 9 years old.
I'm Preston, I'm 8 years old.
I'm so glad to have each of you with us. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to choose a number. Right, we can't see what those numbers are. Each of you pick a number. There we go. And who's got number 1? There we go. So you're going to go first. So the first thing you need to choose is you need to choose a row. So put it next to the row that you choose. You're going to choose the yellow row, and then number 2, you can choose the same row or a different row. Okay, and lastly, which one do you want to choose, Preston? Okay, so we've got 3 different rows. Then your next choice, you need to choose which cup. So put your number on top of a cup, each of you. So you go first, Hannah. Put your number on top of a cup. Oh, sorry. You go first, Gabby. Pick a cup in your row, and then you pick a cup in your row, Hannah. Here we go, and you pick a cup in your row, Preston. There we go. All right. Are you ready, Gabby? Yeah. We're going to ask you a tricky question. Are you ready?
Yes.
So you're at school, and one of your friends decides they don't want to be friends anymore. Okay? And so you have to go and make friends with some other people. Now you've got a choice. Are you going to say nice things about your other friend who was nasty to you? Or are you going to say nasty things about your friend who was unkind to you? What do you think?
say nice things.
I think that's the wise choice. Even though she wasn't loyal to you, and even though she wasn't kind to you and she wasn't a faithful friend, if you stay faithful and kind and only say nice, kind things about her, later on, maybe one day, you might be friends again. And then you haven't said nasty things about people. Because saying nasty things about people is not okay, hey?
Yes.
Okay, so that's very wise. Are you ready for your final choice?
Yes.
Do you want to choose the cup and take a chance? You might win one of the prizes. Or do you want to take a sweet? What do you think?
Cup.
You sure? You might win big, but you might win nothing. Are you sure? Or do you want to be sure and take a sweet? You want to take the cup? Sweet?
Cup.
Okay, turn it over. Have a look if it's got a sticker inside.
Daddy.
Oh, sorry, Gabby. Sorry, maybe next time. All right, are you ready, Hannah?
Yes.
Okay, so you've chosen this cup. Let's first ask you a question. All right, so now this question is about your mom and dad. Now, sometimes moms and dads need to have hard conversations with us, right? Because they want to help us grow and learn things, okay? So now your mom or your dad sits down with you and they explain to you something that they want you to do to help you do things better. But you don't really want to do it that way. Do you think you should cry and get upset and sulk about it? Or do you think you should think about it and pray about it and try to do what they're trying to teach you?
I think I should pray about it.
That's good, and give it your best shot, hey? Because your mom and dad love you and they want to help you do things right, hey? Even though sometimes it doesn't always feel fun when they correct you, hey? All right, are you ready for your choice?
Yes.
Are you going to choose the cup or a sweet? Are you going to take a chance or make sure?
I'm going to choose the cup.
Oh, turn it over. Let's see if you're going to win a prize.
Aww.
Oh, nothing under your cup either. What a pity. I wonder if it's Preston's lucky day, hey? Okay, are you ready for your question, Preston?
Yes.
All right. So, you've chosen this cup. Before we see if there's a prize underneath, let's talk about your friends at school. So now you've got some friends you like playing with, okay? And then there's a new kid that comes to school. What do you think you should do? Do you think you should invite the new friend to come and join you? Or should you just stay with the friends that you know and hope that somebody else will make friends with the new person?
Invite my friend to come play with me.
That's right. Invite him to come play with you because you might make a new friend, hey? That's a very wise thing, Preston. All right. Now, are you ready? Are you choosing the cup or a sweet? You sure? Okay. Turn it over and see if you're going to get a prize.
Yes.
Oh,
Orange.
orange. Let's see what's in the orange one. Ooh, you can choose one of those toys. Oh, that is such fun. Well done, Preston.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for playing and thank you for joining us. Let's give them a wave. Thanks, guys, and let's go and answer some questions.